What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Friday to you. And the days of sports media being allowed to do interviews in NFL locker rooms could be coming to a close. We're going to talk about that in this segment. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that follow button. A couple of weeks ago, the NFLPA released a statement and sent a letter to the NFL that's wanting an end to locker room interviews, citing a need for players' privacy and dignity, and they think that that's the respect that they deserve. Now, like you see here, it's been normal. It's been going on for decades for the NFL to allow sports media to come in and talk to players during the week, during their practice week, in the locker room, as well as on Sundays after the game in the locker room as well. Well, Cam Newton, former Carolina Panther, former NFL MVP, he said that he has been thinking about this a lot, even when he was a player, and he thinks that the media access should be limited somewhat. Let's listen to what Cam Newton had to say on his 4th and 1 podcast, then we'll come back and I'll give my thoughts. Here's Cam Newton talking about media access in the locker room.
Equal rights in the locker room. Let's talk about it. I only know media to be covered one way, and that's when I was in the locker room or when I was playing. And it was very intrusive. It was sometimes extremely uncomfortable. For all athletes that's out there, there's different terms and words that you identify people as that. We used to call them D-dubs. We got a D-dub in here. That was alarm, like, wee, 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 wee. Got a dick watch. What are you doing? Hey, you straight? Oh, I'm sorry. Most times in the male locker room, a lot of men don't have time to cover up. There's been too many times in my career where I had to, excuse me, can I, and it's almost like you covering up to put your underwear on. Yeah. I understand that you have a job to do, but I still need to get dressed.
Again, that was Cam Newton, audio clip on his thoughts on the media policy and allowing them in the locker room. Now, here's the NFL's game day policy. It is different than the weeks of their practice. Now, the media is allowed to go in the locker room on game days policy. They can interview players then. Now, players have been encouraged to use the new approved method during the practice week, whereas that players don't have to do the interviews in the locker room during the practice week. They can say, hey, let's do this outside. That's the new policy. So there's the difference. Sundays, you'll still be able to get those interviews in the locker rooms. The media members will, but during the practice week, they want to change it up a little bit. Again, my thoughts on it. I kind of like this idea. Listen, I worked in the media. I was a sports media news videographer for many years, covering the Dallas Cowboys just because I'm in the East Texas area. And I recall covering the Cowboys on Sundays, game day Sundays. We were allowed to go into the locker room to get interviews with whatever player we wanted, but they also had a separate room set up to bring the Troy Aikmans, the Emmitt Smiths, the Michael Irvins, the Deion Sanders, the others such and such, Tony Romo's, this and that. So because sometimes the players that you wanted to interview would not be made accessible in the press media room. But I would say sometimes I did feel a little uncomfortable trying to interview these players in the locker room. A lot of them, they going back and forth through to the shower. Some have on towels, some didn't. You know, they trying to get dressed, and you got all these cameras standing around them while they trying to make sure they covering stuff up while they still trying to get dressed. I'll be honest with you, as I thought it was a little intrusive, you know, as far as allowing cameras to go into the locker room to talk to these players. I always thought, why not allow us to come in, let them get dressed, then we come in, then we can talk to them. So I can understand how players feel, again, because we've had some incidents where there's been some sound bites used on television, and you can see in the background a player walking by naked, don't have a towel on, or something like that, and it has happened quite a few times. So I'm kind of with the NFLPA on this. Now, again, this only applies to practice during the practice weeks. During the week, the individual teams, they can set up how they want to do it. They can set up a specific area with a backdrop for media to get their interviews with the players, but not allowing them in the locker room, allowing those players to get dressed and kind of have their own moment. Now, again, as far as on Sundays, it's still the rules apply. Media is allowed in the locker room to try to get players after the game. And I kind of feel somewhat a little bit about that too. But again, I get it. The NFLPA, they wanna kind of give these players a little bit more privacy. I'd like to know what you guys think about this. Talk to me in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click that follow button. I'm Kendrick, the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out.